Hello everyone, we are Team Brandy, Kirby, Jeff, and this is our case study briefing for Case 21, Designing an Interactive Kiosk to Celebrate World Wetlands Day. Tilapia Learning is a Sydney-based e-learning company contracted by the Australian government to develop an interactive kiosk experience for their national aquarium surrounding World Wetlands Day. The aquarium is building a new wetlands exhibit featuring connections between the Great Barrier Reef and coastal wetlands, and the kiosk software should feature information on Australian wetlands displayed on a touchscreen kiosk. Stakeholders in the Wetlands Kiosk project include Tilapia Learning staff and investors, the aquarium and aquarium visitors and patrons, the Australian government, and anyone else interested in the future of Australian wetlands. There are 4 key players in the case: Lynn Dixon, instructional designer at Tilapia; Janet Parks, head of the Tilapia sales team; Laura Barton, project lead for the Australian government; and Ben Williams, education manager at the aquarium. Lynn and Janet both work for Tilapia Learning, a small e-learning company in Sydney, Australia. Lynn is the only certified instructional designer on staff, and she's underwhelmed by the rather mundane projects she's currently working on, so she's excited to be chosen as the lead designer for the Aquarium Wetlands Kiosk project. Janet is head of sales at Tilapia Learning and is the account executive for this project. Janet has a tendency to overpromise what Tilapia's team can actually deliver. Laura Barton works for the Australian government department responsible for the aquarium, and she leads the team responsible for the exhibit design and development. And finally, Ben Williams is the education manager at the aquarium. Ben is the subject matter expert for the Wetlands Kiosk project, and he will be responsible for managing the project timeline. After Lynn's first face-to-face meeting with the clients, she has drafted a design document detailing the key features of the Wetlands Kiosk. Lynn wants to include all of the client's wishes in the document, but also recognizes the need for restraint given the limited budget. Here are a list of key performance issues at play. Let's take a closer look. First, Lynn is faced with an overpromising sales team. She's not included in sales meetings with the client. The sales team appears to be unaware or unconcerned about issues of overpromising. The head of sales, Janet, is one of the worst offenders, and Lynn ends up resolving things on her own, although it is not clear how. Lynn also faces workload management challenges. She's already overcommitted, and most of her work is mundane and possibly below her skill level, and so she is excited but somewhat wary about taking on the Wetlands Kiosk project. Lynn has no prior experience developing software for touchscreens. This means more work than usual, adding increased uncertainty to the outcome. The project is already showing signs of feature creep. The client wants more than the budget can support. Lynn wants to make the client happy and create a great app, but has limited time and resources. However, Janet does not always attend meetings to help defend Lynn in expressing her concerns about these limitations. There also appear to be inadequate metrics for project scope and success. Measures of levels of interactivity such as medium are quantitatively vague, and measures of learning time in minutes are difficult to interpret. And the pilot group of senior citizens is not representative of the actual target audience. We recommend the following solutions. Interventions to help Lynn with an overpromising sales team might include facilitating opportunities to engage development staff in strategic sales planning meetings, establishing a central reference for salespeople to be kept aware of staff project commitments, providing regular evaluations, anonymous if necessary, of staff satisfaction with management policies and practices. Communication is key between departments, and if both departments communicate regularly, frustration and mismanagement of limited resources can be minimized. Tilapia management needs to perform an evaluation of the projects which are currently part of Lynn's workload. This should reveal whether some of the more mundane projects could be either transferred to another staff person or delayed or reevaluated. All of Lynn's projects might be vulnerable to inadequate support, and it's important to prioritize. Lynn's boss and Janet should be involved in this process. Initial interviews with Lynn, her boss, and Janet, as well as regular face-to-face meetings, should go a long way to supporting a more effective and productive working environment. Lynn and her boss, and Janet, and the client should all be included in a conversation about these issues. They perhaps should consider a proper front-end analysis. It's possible a company other than Tilapia Learning, who has some experience with touchscreen development, may have been a better choice for the project. In lieu of that option, it might be possible to identify resources and expertise outside of Tilapia to assist Lynn with her learning curve. Workshops or online training resources such as lynda.com might be necessary for Lynn. Companies often need to venture into new development territories. The world of software tools is constantly changing, so being able to adapt and take advantage of just-in-time learning resources should make it possible for Lynn to succeed. Some options to avoid feature creep might include focusing the team on project priorities, creating and managing a product requirements document, constraining feature scope and keeping it customer-driven, creating a process to evaluate all potential changes to the feature list. By implementing some or all of the above interventions, the development process and limited resources can be more effectively managed. Vague measures of project scope, such as medium levels of interactivity and 1 minute of engaged learning, can be a problem. A recommended solution may be to review past projects, how they were quoted to the customer, what the final product was, and what the customer's level of satisfaction was. This could be done with phone interviews and email solicitations and online surveys as needed. The resulting data may shed some light on the need to bring more quantitative measures to the process of defining project scope and design specifications. Senior citizens being the only focus group assessing Tilapia's wetlands touchscreen solution may also be a problem, and the technology may be polarizing to persons of advanced age, resulting in an unreliable set of data. It may be critical to make an extra effort to involve people of all ages in the evaluation process. Addressing this and other performance gaps in the Wetlands Kiosk project should lead to a better interface, more satisfied aquarium visitors, and a general increase in societal awareness of wetlands issues. That's it. Here's the references, and thanks for watching.